definitely Kansas State. Kansas State
Yeah,
sucks.
Kansas State is awful.
Hey, they're 5-2. They haven't beat
Yeah,
anyone, but they're 5-2.
they beat Southeast Missouri, um, Troy, and pretty much everybody at the bottom of the Big 12.
Who beat them? That's the real question. Who are the teams that beat them?
Missouri and
Missouri.
Oklahoma State.
A whole bunch of nothing.
Hello, 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 and welcome to Updog Sports Talk. My name is Matt Miller. That is Justin McGovern, and that is Chad Bunt. Today, we are going over the sad and happy fan bases in college football.
Yep. College football has a lot of passionate fan bases. When things go well, they're excited, they're obnoxious. When things don't go well, they are mad.
It's still
We are going to
obnoxious.
talk about a few of them. Let's start with the ACC. Florida State and Clemson, both of the opposite sides here. Chad, let's take it away with Florida State first.
I mean, obviously, Florida State's having a great season. I believe they're undefeated. I'm really a big fan of the wide receiver, Keon Coleman. I think he's great. My big questions are, does Jordan Travis really have it to continue to compete at a playoff level? And also, let's talk about Clemson. Sad Dabo over there. It's been a while since he's had Trevor Lawrence under his reign, but they got to figure something out down there, or his lifetime contract is going to be a really short lifetime. So,
Yeah, I mean, when you look at Florida State's roster, they're pretty damn good. They got a lot of talent everywhere. Keon Coleman is probably going to be is definitely going to be their best player. Is he a true freshman?
No, I
He was a
believe he
transfer, wasn't he?
transferred. He
Yeah.
transferred as like a sophomore or a junior, I believe. He's
So
draft eligible. That's the main thing.
yeah, so he's probably going to be gone. Jordan Travis, I think this is his last year of eligibility. So this is their kind of last ditch effort to be relevant again. Those two though will get them to relevance. It's just, can they get them to the playoffs? Speaking of playoffs, Clemson is not going to be eligible for the playoffs unless everything just goes horribly, horribly wrong in college football. For whatever reason, they get these high 5-star recruits, and then after Trevor Lawrence left, they're just not panning out. DJ Uiagalelei didn't play well, went to Oregon State and is
played
actually
better.
halfway decent now. And then what's his name?
Cade Klubnik.
Klubnik, yeah. He sucks.
He's nice about it too.
A harsh assessment there. Yeah, like Chad mentioned Keon Coleman, and like I had to pull it back up just so we could look at this catch a little bit longer, which was
That was the
absolutely
catch of the year.
crazy. I mean, you guys have covered it well. Florida State is in contention for the playoff. I'm not sure how it would turn out if they were to lose a game. They have some good wins to maybe allow them the ability to lose one and still make it, but it all depends on what happens elsewhere.
Oh,
But
to get down to brass tacks, what I was saying was Florida State's fan base is happy and Clemson's is sad.
yes. Yeah, Florida State fans are excited right now. They are back in charge of the ACC. Clemson, meanwhile, the dynasty is dead. They're no longer in charge of the ACC. In fact,
Ding dong, the witch is dead. The witch is dead. The witch is dead.
in fact, I mean, honestly, at this point, they are back to being a mid-tier ACC team, which is really what Clemson was for a long time. So Dabo's done a good job there.
Which is almost no better than being a really good MAC team at the end of it.
Yeah. Yeah, by the end of that, pretty much. But yeah, I mean, I think that's what Clemson is again. Dabo did a really good job to make them good for as long as he did. But now they're kind of, they're back in the pack.
Yeah.
Well, moving on here. How about we talk about the Big Ten? Michigan State.
Hey, wrong order. Hey, wrong order, dummy.
Okay, yeah. And Michigan fans are having a great time right now, but everyone in college football hates them.
Hey,
Chad.
There you go.
Let's start with Michigan State. Obviously, I would say both teams are sad because anything in that state's terrible. But Michigan State's having a rough year. Head
Except
coach
for
got
Lakes.
pardon.
Except for Lakes, they have good lakes.
They have some good legs, yeah, but that's if you want to talk about college sports right now, Michigan, it's probably a hard time to talk about it. Let's get into that though. Michigan State, obviously Mel Tucker, the whole situation. He was a bad touch coach and got ran out of the school, and he tried to fight it, said it was off base that he got fired, but then they were like, "Hold on, man, we have evidence."
Yes.
So he's dealing with those problems. Michigan State, as far as the school, I've heard they talked about Urban Meyer maybe coming in there. I don't think that'll happen. I think they're gonna have to figure it out. I don't know. That's the bottom of the Big Ten. That's about as bad as it gets.
Yeah.
Honestly, the Michigan. I know they're number 2 in the country right now. They're having a great season, but all that could come crashing down with like a swift, like just flick by the NCAA because they got some cheating scandal going on. Says they were stealing signs. Colin, can't remember his last name, is a student advisor or something like that, some sort of coaching assistance, and he had 30 different. He had 30 different tickets to 11 different Big Ten teams games and practice.
Yeah.
You can't be blatant, guys. I know things go on behind closed doors, but I mean, you can't be obvious about it. And they say it goes back to the first year they beat Ohio State. I don't know if all these will be
Deion
vacated.
Sanders put it best. I mean, not to give a shout out to the shirt that I'm wearing. That was actually 100% not planned. But Deion said, yeah, you might have the game plan, but you still got to stop it. So
Yeah,
at the end of the day, like, Michigan may have the game plan, and right now their fans are happy outside of that news. But I mean, you still got to stop it. I mean, like Kenneth Walker going over to Michigan State, without Kenneth Walker transferring there from Wake Forest, what relevance have they had recently anyway?
Yeah.
Like none.
not really. D'Antonio got him into the playoff one year.
Yeah,
I know, but that was like 2015. Like that's almost a
It
decade
was
back.
84 years ago.
It's like kicking a fat kid in Kmart. I'll tell you what.
I'll tell you what, though, even though it's back to 2015, that's the one we'll forget. Like, if you get a trivia question, what teams have made the playoff in history? Michigan State's the one you'll forget.
Yeah, they
100%.
beat Ohio State.
But switching gears back to Michigan, though, outside of the sign stealing scandal and whatever the NCAA decides to do, they are playing pretty good football. JJ McCarthy is playing way better than I thought he was. I thought the offense was
candidate for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought the offense was going to lean on Blake Corum a lot more, and honestly, I haven't heard his name a whole lot.
I think Donovan Edwards is getting all the carries.
Yeah.
No, Corum's scoring all the touchdowns still. Edwards just scored his first touchdown the other week.
Oh, well,
Really?
I still don't hear his name. I don't really have the sound on many Michigan games, but
I mean, no one wants to watch them because they're all blowouts against overmatched opponents.
I'd rather watch any nail biting Ohio State game over any blowout Michigan game. Ohio State's having a lot of troubles right now.
I think they're fixing the troubles, but they figure out how to get
they fight
the end of the game. Like Ohio State's fan base is on a roller coaster ride right now because Ohio State is used to blowing teams out. Fans are just drunk by the end of the first quarter and then just partying second, third, and most of fourth.
You mean the beginning of the first quarter?
No, I mean like sloppy drunk at the end of the first quarter. And then they're just partying second,
guilty as charged.
Now it's like they're sloppy drunk before the game starts, and then they're worrying for 3 quarters, and then Ohio State pulls it out at the end. So I mean, Ohio State fans just keep riding that roller coaster. Literally the only opponent that any of the teams play in the Big Ten, there's only 3 of them: Penn State, Ohio State, and Michigan. We've been saying that all year. Those are the only 3 that have any relevance in that conference. And it's really only Michigan and Ohio State because right now Penn State is playing little brother to those two.
Can't beat either
Yep.
team.
Yeah, they can't.
You
They're
saw what
just
happened last week. You saw what happened.
they're
They
they're
keep shooting
just
them so they even have a pass game now, and like they look halfway decent on offense, but then like for Penn State, they struggled against West Virginia in week 1, even though they had some really awesome plays. And then it just seems like they came out flat against Ohio State.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Penn State's just stuck in that third spot. They can't get past those two. They're just a level below. I mean, that's frankly what they are. Actually, if we really want to put them in this, like Penn State is another miserable fan base in the Big Ten because they want to be at that level, but they just aren't there.
They're just
They
so
just aren't.
close. They're so
They're
close.
gonna
Just so
they're
close, they
gonna
can't
need the
get there.
ghost of Joe Pa to coach your team again.
And let
What
me
they
tell
need
you,
to do.
by the way, this Michigan stuff, they have been releasing more and more details as the days go on. A third party investigator is what brought this up to the NCAA and the Big Ten. Also, they didn't just go to Big Ten games; they were going to other games like Washington, Oregon last year. He sent someone to that, and Michigan paid for the flights. That's where things get real interesting in this investigation.
I mean, I'm sure that there's like a lot of the top teams have to be cheating somehow. Like
Yeah.
especially
honestly,
like Ohio State, Michigan, Alabama, Clemson for a little bit. Like I feel like a lot of them were cheating in some way.
oh, they are. All of them are. That's called.
Yeah.
It's called NIL deals now. It used to be under under closed
It
doors.
used to be under the table for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now it's like, here, take our money. Cause this play at Ohio State.
Yeah. It's
I
crazy though. Remember, Jim Tressel served a 6-game NFL suspension for players getting tattoos, and now that's like completely allowed.
I thought it was selling their gear for money for tattoos.
what happened was I believe it was specifically Terrell Pryor and a couple others. I can't say. I think maybe
Delinquents.
They
Jabronis.
when you play against Michigan as a starter, you get it's almost like a keychain, 24 karat gold pair of pants, right? He had traded I think one or two of those for some tattoos, and that's what sparked all of it.
Yeah.
And now you look back on it, it seems kind of dumb, you know. And I think the precedent in this whole Michigan thing is set by Bill Belichick. What would he do? He cheat. He got caught stealing signs in the NFL. I don't remember what his punishment was, but he got suspended. And I think
it was just a slap on the wrist and being like, "Don't do it again," but let Tom Brady win.
did they vacate a
they
win?
lost a first round pick out of that thing.
Yeah,
they don't use first round picks anyway. They take third rounders in the first round.
That's true. They do.
You can't have Bill Belichick as your coach as the Patriots in Madden anymore because they just don't put him in. They're just like, he could get in trouble. He's, it's going to be a lot for us to take him out again.
He actually said that he didn't want to be in the game in like 2005.
Oh, did he?
Yeah. But basically, moral of the story for the Big Ten is almost everybody is a sad fan base right now. Maybe Midwestern Blues because we're heading into cold season, but
I mean, us Ohio State fans aren't that upset. We're still.
You're still on a roller coaster. It's not all
we're on the edge right now. We're waiting to see what happens at the end of the year.
I feel pretty good about it, man. What I see in them is that they're fighting. Every week they fight. It doesn't matter who it is, but it's a fight. And I think that's good when you go into a playoff because you've been fighting all year. We're going to fight all the way to the end. And the last time I saw a team like this was the 2014 national champion Buckeyes when they were down and out. I forget who was it. Virginia Tech they lost to.
Yeah.
And then they came back and played UC, and UC and them had it was a shootout for it was 55-45 or something like that. I remember because I went to the game, and I don't think I've seen a team like that since then till now. So,
yeah.
What's the next conference, Justin?
Yep. So mentioned UC.
We all like the Big Ten though.
Oh yes, but we also like the Big 12. Big 12. Oklahoma, happy fan base. Not Texas, that's for sure. Horns down. Oklahoma, happy. UC, miserable. Chad, get us started here with Oklahoma.
Dylan Gabriel, man. I don't know. I really like the guy. I think he's serious Heisman contender. Came from UCF last year. It's really taking over this offense and is playing well. I'm other obviously Texas is their only team they really have to play out of the Big 12, the really big contenders right now. And Texas is not looking good. Quinn Ewers just got hurt, right?
Yeah.
I don't see any reason why they couldn't coast to the end. That being said, are they a one-loss team or are they undefeated still?
Oklahoma's still undefeated.
They're absolutely a contender for the playoff. UC, it's sad, but I was never sold on Satterfield. I don't think he's a great coach. I think he can recruit people to come there, but I just really don't think that he's got what it takes to get the talent to do what it needs to do to be successful there. It's hard too when you come in after a coach that was successful, Luke Fickle. I don't know. They got some soul searching to do to
Yeah,
get
so
this shit corrected.
I was at the UC Baylor game, and I've been noticing this trend all year with Satterfield. He is a hell of a recruiter. I'll give him that. But there's a reason why the Louisville fan base cheered when he left. Because he was doing good enough to not get fired, but not bad enough to leave. So he was just kind of stuck at Louisville. And everybody at Louisville was like, please leave, man. Go to like Division 2 or something. But it's the reason why he's not that great of a coach is because he's not that great of a play caller. They'll have Emory Emory Jones. I blanked on his name for a second. But he'll like drop back and then do a quarterback draw right into the offensive line. Not even into a hole, right into the back of the offensive line. And then there's a guy right there to tackle him. Like they get no like no yardage.
No penetration.
So yeah. And
nice.
UC fan base, they were getting a little fed up the other day. So yeah. But Oklahoma's fan base, a lot better than last year. They were down last year. And then this year they beat Texas. They're undefeated. Everything's looking good. They may have a first round exit in the playoff. But UCF is down there with UC. I would even put Houston, the other newbie in there, down at the bottom and of their fan base, kind of sad bums. And then
Baylor.
Definitely
Kansas State. Kansas State
Yeah,
sucks.
Kansas State is awful.
Hey, they're 5-2. They haven't beat anyone, but they're 5-2.
They beat Southeast Missouri, Troy, and pretty much everybody at the bottom of the Big 12.
Who beat them? That's the real question. Who are the teams that beat them?
Missouri and Oklahoma State.
A whole bunch of nothing.
Yeah.
Well, actually, okay, where did Oklahoma State come from? Like, I kind of forgot about them after they lost like 2 games early in the year. Oklahoma State is 5-2.
By the way, we also missed 3 opportunities.
Keep Gundy's teams down, apparently.
We missed 3 opportunities to do our thing. Oh, Oklahoma, where the wind comes rolling down the plain.
I don't know. I just think it's like a Big 12. It's a 12 conference thing. A Big 12, Pac-12. They don't really play that well defense. They just let it gets run up the scores, and it's whoever can just keep going.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's fun football, but it's hard to compete when you're just.
Although Oklahoma State actually had a defense the past couple years.
Yeah.
TCU had a defense last year.
Yeah.
UC has a defense, but if the offense isn't moving, there's only so much you could do. But I can't wait for the realignment. I want to see Colorado in this division.
This conference
Nebraska someday.
This conference is going to be so much fun. Somebody like there's still like a lot of fan bases who have a lot of passion, but then they're absolutely miserable at the same time. I mean, really, we could have a long list of miserable fan bases in this because we didn't even talk about West Virginia, where like the beginning of the year, it was like Neil Brown was slowly and painfully saving his job, and now they're kind of fading a bit.
Hey, what's the next conference?
Hey, I didn't even get to get my points yet on this. But yeah, Oklahoma looks good.
It doesn't matter.
The main thing is Oklahoma actually has a defense, which has not existed for them in like 7 years, it feels like. But yeah, now we can move on.
I don't know. Can they
Next
finish out the
conference.
season? That's the real thing. Can they continue to do what they do? Because I feel like every year one of these Big 12 teams blows at the end.
Yeah, that'll be an interesting thing with Oklahoma. I'm very curious to see if they can keep it going all year. I think they can afford a loss and still make the playoff. Also, the other thing, Oklahoma was supposed to play Georgia this year, and the SEC told them to cancel it. We all lost because of that.
Yeah, that would have been a good game.
All right, on to the Pac-12.
You ain't too many of the biggie deals.
Washington has been looking good. USC, not so much. Chad?
It's the curse of what is it? The Dr. Pepper title town. It's a curse. He's the newest quarterback. He's done. I don't know. I mean, obviously he's going to be probably the top pick.
No, he transferred to Wendy's. Remember?
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. He's been marked already. It's the kiss of death.
And by the way, the best part is they started releasing a commercial about him not believing in curses right as USC went on a 2-game losing streak.
That's what you get.
The
Don't invoke the devil. You know he'll show up.
Dr. Pepper guy tried to tell him.
Yeah, no, USC. They have a ton of talent. They have a great coach. They have a quarterback. I mean, they had it all, and they blew it. They didn't really. Who did they lose to?
Notre Dame and Utah.
They shouldn't have lost to Notre Dame. No offense, but I mean, at that point, they were flying high, potential playoff team.
No, but Notre Dame exposed them, and that's how
it sure did.
Utah.
They sure did, and I mean that's they're not going to be able to compete with going down the line. They're probably.
I mean, they may win a few more games just because, but the key to beating them is keeping the top on your defense and running the ball, taking the clock down, not really putting it in their hands. And then what Al Golden did was he blitzed a lot, and he put a lot of pressure on Caleb Williams to see what that guy had, and it ain't much.
Yeah. And I like Washington and Michael Penix. I mean, he was at Indiana before.
Yep.
my boy Penix.
Penix energy.
Gotta love my Penix. But do they have what it takes to, be a playoff team?
I think beating Oregon proved that they actually could.
They could compete. I think they could, but I mean, you put them in game 1 with Georgia. What's going to happen?
That would be one hell of a game.
I'm excited to find out what would happen.
Yeah, I hope that's the matchup.
100%. And find out.
Yeah, but I mean, that would be one fantastic. Assuming nobody is injured on either team, that would be one fantastic game to watch.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, and at this point, Brock Bowers coming back.
Yeah, so that would be great. What conference are we on? Oh, Pac-12.
We're on Pac-12.
USC is a sad fan base. UCLA as well. Pretty much the only happy ones out of this conference. Utah because they beat USC. Although their year's not as good as what they thought they would be. Oregon and Washington are happy, but Oregon's pissed off that they lost to Washington. But yeah, the rest and Colorado's 13 million fans that kind of showed up overnight. They're all pissed off. They're all ready to fire Dion.
By the way,
I've been on this train for 3 games. Fire Dion.
the real Colorado fans, we are just excited.
We've tripled our win total.
I think they quadrupled it. They have at least 4 wins, right?
Yeah,
quadrupled.
Yeah, I mean, give that man more money.
I think hit the over already on Vegas's closing win total, which was 3.5.
I knew I should have bet on that. Damn it.
And by the way, USC, their last 4 games, Cal, not bad. Washington, Oregon, UCLA. Ouch. It may get worse before
they'll go 2-2.
Mm-hmm. But you mentioned Utah. Utah is actually kind of hanging out there. They have only 1 loss so far. People consider them the playoff spoiler. They're still in contention for the playoff, even though they have a backup quarterback.
I was about to say, because they announced that Cam Rising's not coming back.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if they can pull it off, but in theory, if they went out, they would definitely make it.
I like Utah. They're a good team.
Yeah, I like how they're They have a very tough squad. Like their defense is very tough, and they're going to be a pest for every team in this conference the rest of the way, including Washington. Which I love what Phoenix and those receivers do. They are electric.
You love Phoenix, don't you?
and that the defense actually saved their biscuits this
Hanging to
past
the
weekend.
Your Phoenix and biscuits.
Popeye's
Popeye's biscuits are really good, guys.
biscuits are
Left-handed
very
Phoenix.
good. But you know who else's biscuits are really good? Bojangles biscuits.
They are
It's
the
time to go
blueberry.
south, guys.
You gotta get the blueberry. I forget what it's called, the blueberry biscuit. And if you don't waste your time. Go to Bojangles and get the blueberry biscuit.
It's Bowberry. Bowberry. It took us 2 episodes to figure this out, but it's Bowberry.
Bowberry.
Yeah. Silly
Worth
name,
every
but
penny.
Speaking of the South,
all right.
Um,
Speaking of the South, take it away.
Sad Arkansas Razorbacks.
Oh yeah, it's not my turn.
I really like Arkansas. I like their quarterback.
Arkansas.
Yeah, Arkansas. I don't
It's
know.
not Kansas. It's Arkansas.
Arkansas.
They're struggling, and I wish they were better, but they're not. And
Arkansas has, I think they're on a streak of 6 straight one-score losses.
it's sad because they have like a bunch of players on that team that I really want to see succeed, but
They almost really they're pretty much just what Missouri is normally, just with a better quarterback. Because KJ Jefferson is a beast, and like he played really well last year, and he's just not playing the same this year. I don't know why.
I don't think he has the offensive line he had last year.
I don't think they had much of an offensive line last year either.
I also
It's just a
think
little bit better.
I also think the offensive coordinator move did not work, Dan Enos. Basically, his whole time at Arkansas is known for angrily emailing students after a game. He was there. He was there 8 games. It failed miserably. They already fired him.
Who was the other team on that graphic? Was that Georgia?
Georgia.
I'm happy
They're
fans.
Georgia
people.
fans are happy.
Georgia.
Yeah, well,
for
we
sure.
don't even need to talk about that.
I still have my bet for Alabama. I did not cash that out yet. I do think that they still have a shot at winning the national
You
title.
think Bama beats Georgia?
I'm in the same boat. I do think Alabama can beat Georgia. But I think what's interesting is I just realized that the playoff rankings come out next week. Right now, Georgia does not have an argument to be above 3 in those rankings. And you know what that means? Just before the toughest stretch of the year, Kirby Smart's going to be like, these guys don't respect us. Go out there and show them. And they'll beat everyone by 50.
Yeah. That was a lot of energy, by the way. That was probably too much for the time.
You lay off
It may
the
have
coffee before you go to bed. But
It may have been okay.
no more espresso for you.
All right. Time to give the little guys a shout out here. So we'll kind of just hit these guys pretty quickly here.
Whole bunch of nobodies.
Hey, no, these teams deserve respect, damn it. New
This
Mexico
guy's holding me up over here, so
So to start us off, New Mexico State,
New Mexico
almost
State.
one of the coolest logos, almost bowl eligible for the second year in a row for the first time since 1960. How about that?
That's pretty awesome.
That's pretty cool.
And they
Yeah.
won the Battle of I-10.
Yep, and the Battle of I-25, the Rio Grande rivalry. First time they did both of those in a long time too.
That's
This
a
is-
deep reach, boys. That's a deep reach.
We
Hey,
played
this
as at New Mexico State in NCAA 14, so we know they're
We've been New Mexico State 3 separate times, so Matt and I are very well aware of them.
to the point where like we're low-key fans of them now.
We are. We really are.
I do. By the way, I do not like the logo you chose for Georgia State. I think they have a cooler logo now.
I like the new logo, but I saw the old one and I was like, you know what? I kind of like the old logo too. I'm just bringing it up because we haven't seen it in a while. Georgia State's 6-1 right now. They're having a good season, guys.
Yeah.
They are bowl eligible, huh?
Yeah. Already bowl eligible. I mean, they may be outside of the reach of a New Year's Six, but they might. They're right there though. Other New Year's Six contenders. Let's talk about undefeated Air Force. They're not on the graphic, but how about them?
Yeah, I mean, Air Force, Navy, and Army seem to alternate years on where they're good.
Mhm.
and it is definitely Air Force's year. They took all the power
Yeah,
from the service academies.
it's exciting because I don't think we've seen a service academy have a year this good in quite a while, but they need to finish down the stretch.
Yeah.
I was gonna what's next? Sorry, UNLV bowl eligible. How about that?
Sweet.
Yeah.
Anyways,
I have my TV on over here. Something wild just popped up.
But yeah, other teams give a shout out to Toledo. They're 7-1. They really shouldn't have lost the Illinois in the opener, so they should be undefeated. They're having a good year. We have Tulane on this list here. Tulane only one loss this year. Their only loss is to Ole Miss, and they were using their backup quarterback. And then James Madison. Damn it, they need to be bowl eligible. The NCAA just needs to figure it out.
They need to be bowl eligible. They need to be conference championship eligible. Get this team in there. They went 8-3 last year. They're still undefeated, right?
Yes, they're still undefeated.
Yeah.
Those Cowboys,
want Bama.
They ranked them.
They would get curb stomped by Alabama.
I would love to see something like that, though. Give them what they want, guys.
like UCF that year that they claimed to be a national championship.
Yep, go on. Go get yours.
That is all the time we have.
Hang on. We have miserable ones as well. I have 3.
I didn't realize. Well, you got to hurry up because we're running out of time.
They didn't get on the graphic.
Got 8 minutes, sir.
Sam Houston
you
State.
Got 2 minutes.
Sam Houston State is winless. They've been so close so many times. Damn it, just get a win. And then the other one I wanted to mention was Boise State because I shared the last time they were out there, they lost on a Hail Mary to Colorado State. I posted this on Twitter, and literally ever since then, almost daily, I think a different Boise State fan pops up in the replies and says they need to fire their coach. That fan base is down bad right now. They want something new.
Well, we are pretty much out of time. So that is the show. Going to talk a little bit more baseball coming up soon with the World Series. Like us, subscribe, comment, tell everyone about us. We want paychecks from this so we can move on from our jobs. See you guys.
I'm trying to retire.